the live, but if you are watching this on replay and you have any questions, there'll be a QR code at the end that you can scan and jump into WhatsApp, unsurprisingly, to ask me your questions there, or contact me in the various ways to ask your questions. So yeah, if you do have burning questions on going through the content, then do save them till the end and ask away. While I'm going through it, if you are watching live, if you want to put your question in as you think of it, put it in the chat, then that's absolutely fine, and I'll come to it at the end as well. So yeah, I think we'll jump straight in, because I'm planning to do just under half an hour. I'm going to keep it quite short and succinct, and as I say, any questions that you have after, then do come back to me, because I know everyone's time is precious. So let's keep it short and we're going to do some real value packed stuff today. It's going to be quite fast moving, so you might want your notebook, and yeah, hopefully going to really teach you some really valuable stuff. So obviously this is what we're talking about. So I'm assuming if you've joined us today that you're interested in learning more about WhatsApp, and you're likely in the leisure industry, maybe hotels, the events industry, that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. But essentially it's WhatsApp for these consumer-based sectors. And what I want to ask you first is a question, and that is, how are you actually talking to your customers, to your visitors, to your guests, to the people who you are dealing with? So what channels are you using to talk to them? And are you talking to them and having a conversation, or are you broadcasting to them? And it's important that we do all those things, but the power of WhatsApp, of course, and the magic of WhatsApp is it allows us to have a conversation. And WhatsApp isn't replacing things like email. I mean, email's brilliant. Email's great for confirmations, for newsletters, for long form. There's loads of things that email's still great for, but there's a lot of things where it's failing, and that's where WhatsApp comes in. And social media is brilliant for visibility and brand recognition, and getting yourself known and seen, and building your brand. But again, the algorithms make it really hard to actually have a good conversation with people. So WhatsApp is this filling the gap in between these channels, and that's what I'm going to show you about today, how you can actually harness the power of WhatsApp to do that. And really have a conversation, because that's where the magic is nowadays. It's having the conversations, not just broadcasting information to people. So very quickly, if you don't know me, if we've not connected before, hi, I'm Helen. Should have said that right at the beginning, really. So I run a digital agency called Capture One, which we run for over 25 years. Obviously, I've not been doing WhatsApp 25 years because the digital world is as it is. But yeah, we've been involved in digital technology for 25 years. So I know what I'm talking about, essentially, and I've got a huge amount of experience working on all different client projects, all different types of businesses, public sector, business sector, leisure, hotels, all that kind of thing, and also working in the event sector. I've done a lot of work there. So just for a bit of my background, I'm going to get into the value rather than talk about me, because I think that's more important. But I just wanted you to know why I am really experienced in giving you this information today. So let's look immediately at why WhatsApp, because that's why we're here. You want to know why could WhatsApp work for our business? And I mean, I could talk about the whole webinar about why WhatsApp really works, but I'm just going to give you the headlines here. And really, there's no question about the fact that WhatsApp is the biggest used messaging platform in the whole world. Pretty much everyone is using it. There's different demographics in different parts of the world that use it more than others, but particularly in the UK and Europe, Asia, South America, pretty much everyone is using it some way, shape or form. So it's an app that people know, they understand, they're checking it on average 23 times a day, which I thought was quite interesting. I think I probably check mine more, to be honest, but that's the average stat, and the open rates are amazing. So I'll talk about that more in a bit when I'm going to the case study in terms of the stats. But why then is it for you, if you're in the hospitality, leisure, event sector, Why is it particularly important for you to be using it? Well, because you are likely to be talking to people when they are out and about, when they're not necessarily at their computer, their laptop, in their work mode. It's when they're out doing their leisure time and spending their leisure time, and they've likely just got their phones. Therefore, you want to be engaging them in the moment, in that personalized space where they feel they can feel connected, they can get information immediately with ease. That is the magic of you guys using WhatsApp. And you can use it for so many touch points, not just during their visits, but before and after. And because it's on their phone, it's where they check the most, it feels familiar to them, it's where you're going to get the most engagement. It allows you to do those instant timely messages that are so important, particularly if you're running events or you're in that space where your customers need information in the moment. It's the best and quickest way to get that information to them in a really branded, interactive and easy way. And why should you be doing it now? So I talked about at the beginning about the fact that email is the rates of engagement are really massively falling. Algorithms on social are really hard to navigate. And this really is that channel where you can talk to your customers and get through those issues that email and social give you. And if you do it now, then you are really being very much in the early responsive group of businesses who are doing that with their customers, and you'll get ahead essentially. So visitors are expecting much more nowadays. All customers, we all expect more, don't we? When we contact a business, when we've spent our money with someone, when we want information when we want it. That's what visitors expect. They also expect, if they're spending money, that they are serviced well. Therefore, using a channel where you can service them really efficiently and be super, super helpful and super professional, then that is only going to be a good thing for your business. It can't be anything else. And then it's also making your business way more efficient. And we'll come into that a little bit later on. But efficiencies in your business then it obviously affects your bottom line to the good, because you are able to be way more efficient and effective with your resources and your time and your staff and all that kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of an overview for why. What problems is WhatsApp solving for you? So as we said, email rates are massively dropping. So that is a big problem. One of the biggest that is solving for you. Confirmations, emails and information that customers genuinely need, they're losing, they're not able to access necessarily immediately or helpfully. So you're making your life easier, you're making your customers' life easier, and you're making your life easier. One of the problems that hotels often have that is the staff end up maybe messaging guests, and this maybe isn't so much in the UK, but definitely in other parts of the world, staff will be messaging guests on their personal phones because they want to be using WhatsApp. They see the power of WhatsApp. And so they start to use it, but then there's massive issues there with data and it's not being handled correctly. There's no scalability. So if you use WhatsApp properly in a business way, in an automated way, and in a scalable way, which is what I'm going to show you how to do, then you bypass all of those issues. And as we've already said, the guests are wanting much more, visitors are needing more from you in terms of better communication. So you're able to really solve that when you use WhatsApp. So because your customer is already on WhatsApp, that's a massive benefit, because if you might have an app, and apps are great. Lots of businesses have apps, lots of events have apps, and you can do a lot with an app, and that's fantastic. The problem is with only having an app is that you're reliant on someone downloading it, first of all, and turning their push notifications on within the app in order to get messaging through the app. And it's a much more proactive channel they have to remember to use. Whereas if you combine WhatsApp in your communication mix, and that might be alongside your apps, I'm not saying use it instead of an app, you might still have an app, but if all roads lead to WhatsApp, and that's an important thing we're going to be talking about a few times a day, making all roads lead to WhatsApp. If you're using WhatsApp for the primary messaging channel, and you're sending primary messages through WhatsApp, or they are able to access WhatsApp to contact you, you're making it a lot easier and a lot more immediate for your customers. So it's better for your visitors. You're making it better for visitors, but you're also making it better for your business because you're making things more efficient. So that's why it's really a no-brainer to be starting to use WhatsApp. The key thing is, and one of the reasons that WhatsApp is so effective is because it is a tightly controlled channel. So it's owned by Meta. It's a part of the Meta suite of channels, and Meta really do control tightly the spam filters. So you have to do it well, and you have to use it properly. And that's what I'll come in and show you a bit about. But I say WhatsApp, you need to do 3 things with it really to use it properly and keep people engaged and subscribed to your WhatsApp chat. So you need to use it intentionally. It needs to have a purpose. It needs to be triggered by a particular behavior that you know about someone, or some demographic, or it's intentional. They've opted in to get some information. They've asked a question, or it's related to a specific booking confirmation or some information that they need. It needs to be helpful. So genuinely, and I know that might sound a bit top level, of course, all emails are helpful, but actually the amount of emails and communications we all get every day that just aren't that helpful or aren't that relevant, which is my third point, it turns people off. So it needs to be genuinely helpful. And that comes down to the way it's built as well, and the way you serve your messages up. We've all been on chatbots and had experiences where we've had a chatbot that is really unhelpful, and it actually makes us feel more frustrated and ruins the brand with that company when we're going round in circles and we can't actually get what we need, and it's really unhelpful. So you have to make sure that it's genuinely helpful, and it has to be relevant. So there's no point in sending messages like people do, businesses a lot with email, is that they will just send the emails to everyone. A lot of businesses segment their email, but a lot of businesses don't. So they'll send all messages to everyone, regardless of how relevant it is. And again, that really desensitizes the messages then that you really want to get through. So with WhatsApp, you would end up sending too many messages if you just send irrelevant. So it has to be relevant. And because it's a personalized channel, then you want people to feel that they are getting something that's personalized to them and that's relevant to them. And so if you don't make it relevant, they will very quickly turn off and think, oh, this is just going to everyone. And then that defeats the point of the channel. So as we've said, that a lot of people are using it, 2 billion plus active users worldwide. So the chances are your customers are using WhatsApp. So again, you're making it easy for them. Your message open rates on WhatsApp are average 98%. I mean, you don't get that on any other channel. And your click-through rates. Now, I think click-through rates are really important to talk about, particularly when you're using WhatsApp as part of your marketing and customer journey. And the fact that click-through rates, this is an average of 60% across all kinds of clients that we work with. However, what's important to realize is it's not always about getting a click. So depending on what your messages that are campaigns that you're using, they might be more about just sending some key information, and they might not require a click. They might just be delivering that information that is needed. Also, you've got your inbound way that you will be using WhatsApp, which is people coming in to get information and ask questions. They will then be clicking through an interactive journey, which is why the click rate is so high, because people are actually coming in to get the information they need. So yeah, the click-through rates are really, really powerful. And obviously, if you compare that to emails and click-through rates, you get an email, you just don't get anywhere near that level. Really important before we get into the case study, which in fact, I've got 2 case studies for you today. I'm going to look at a hotel case study, how they got amazing results, and we're going to look at an event case study. So I'm going to come to them very shortly. But what's really important for you to understand first, if you're new to looking at WhatsApp in this way, is understanding the type of WhatsApp we're talking about. Now, obviously, WhatsApp is WhatsApp on the user's phone. It's the same app. However, how you're delivering it as a business is slightly different. So it's not a personal channel, obviously. So that's what we use with friends and family. And it's not a group. So with our groups, we can all see other people in the group. So that's not what we're talking about. So when you're using WhatsApp in the way I'm going to show you, no one else can see the conversation that's happening. It's just between the user and you. It's not a broadcast channel. So a broadcast channel is something that a lot of, for example, football teams, football clubs use broadcast channels a lot. So it's a channel within a business WhatsApp. They have a status, they can broadcast updates, team news, all that kind of thing, but it's a one-way channel, so you can't interact with that. So it's a bit more like Twitter or X in that sense. And then you've got a business app version of WhatsApp, which is more for maybe tradespeople, one-man band type people, to separate their personal WhatsApp number from their business number, so they can have a different number. There's a bit of basic automation they can use, some quick replies, but essentially it's still a manual process by and large, and they're using it on their phone. What we're talking about is WhatsApp Business API, which allows you to do so much more. Think of it like an email platform for WhatsApp, like email on steroids, really, because the amount it lets you do and how interactive it is. So it's a platform that you use a piece of software to run it, and the user obviously gets the messages in WhatsApp. So you're not using it on WhatsApp on your phone, you're using another piece of software. And it's really important to understand that, because there's so much you can do as a result of that. So to run the API side, you need a platform. Now, we're agency partners with a software provider called ManyChat. That we use it because it's, in my opinion, it's the best. There are some other platforms out there, but this is the platform that we use and we recommend. And it allows you to do a lot of powerful work within there. So creating automated flows, you're tagging your segmentation. We integrate with other systems as well, because if you're using WhatsApp in this way, it's my recommendation that you make it a part of your whole comms mix. You don't operate it in silo. You integrate it with your other systems. You use it in conjunction with your other communication systems so that it is the most effective it can be. So using a platform like this allows you to actually integrate WhatsApp with your other systems. And there's also the AI side, which I'll talk about in a bit, but that's a really important part of using WhatsApp well, is having the AI responses so they're timely, but having them work and having them sound conversational and not like a bot. But in the event that the AI can't answer it, it needs to go through to a human, so that the user, the customer, the guest, actually gets someone to answer their question or to help them where they need help. But by and large, the point of WhatsApp is that it shouldn't have that manual interaction very often, because it should be set up in a way that makes it more efficient. The guest and the customer gets what they need easily, efficiently, without actually having human intervention. So I'm going to show you case study one, which is a hotel, luxury hotel in North Yorkshire, Old Walk Manor. So they've got a brand new spa facility open. They've been doing lots of amazing developments there. It's a gorgeous place. Highly recommend you visit it if you're ever in North Yorkshire. They used email and obviously social as, as standard for their comms. But they wanted to start to nurture the channel. Particularly, they also have members for golf, for their gym and leisure side, and they want to create an engaged pot of people. They have a lot of regular visitors and customers, so they really wanted to start to engage that and build that up. So they saw the opportunity to do this before their competitors. So we started off with a competition campaign. That's what I'm going to walk you through now in terms of one of the campaigns that we did for them. And this is what got the 75% that I have had on the first slide of this presentation, which you might have thought, how do you get the 75% click-through rate? You're now going to see how you do, because it's by creating a campaign that's very targeted, very relevant, and very interactive and very helpful, as we talked about before. So the thing is with WhatsApp, you need to build your audience on WhatsApp, but you're not just, it's not like when you're going out to another channel where you're just sending them information. You need people to come in and to opt into WhatsApp. So you need a reason for them to. So that might be, as we've already said, because they've booked tickets or they've already bought from you. But if they've not actually bought anything from you yet, and you want to build an audience of people who might be interested, then you have to think of a way for them to actually come into WhatsApp. And one of the great things that you can do is to run some kind of competition or a giveaway. There's lots of other ways as well you can get people to come in, but a competition works really well because you can create it on social media, obviously post about it on Instagram and Facebook. You can also have QR codes on site. You can have all roads leading to the competition. So you can have people coming in and they come in to enter the competition in WhatsApp. Now, what's particularly interesting to realize about this is that no doubt you've run competitions on social media and they always, work well in terms of visibility. You'll likely get lots of likes and comments in order to enter, and lots of shares because people ask people to share, don't they? So it's great visibility. But what you can't do really is do anything with that data. It's really hard to actually get the people who've entered the competition to then do any kind of follow-up that they engage in. If you use WhatsApp, then you can. So with everyone who entered the competition, and I've got a stat in a minute, I think so, the percentage of, it was over 80% of people who entered on Instagram actually came through to WhatsApp. So they were then sent their entry information in WhatsApp after they'd entered in Instagram. We're then nurturing them a little bit more before they actually enter. So the competition, I think, was open for maybe 2 weeks. When they initially entered, they were confirmed that they were entered. They were then given an option to share with a friend, and they were given an opportunity to explore some other interesting offers from Old Walk at that stage. Now, not everyone clicked through initially, and that's not the idea. You wouldn't expect them to, because this is a nurture journey. However, we did get a really good level of click-through rate, and 37% of people actually shared the WhatsApp message with a friend to get the friend to enter. Now, that's amazing. 37% of people sharing it in WhatsApp, because if you get a message in WhatsApp from a friend with a competition, you're more likely to enter, aren't you? So that was really a successful part of actually building the referral network within your audience. Once then the competition draw is done, everyone who's entered in WhatsApp gets a message saying, check if you've won. We do a spin the wheel video. They can spin and see if they've won. If they haven't won, they get a, sorry, you haven't won. However, here's some information for something you might like. You could then send them an offer, a discount, whatever you want to drive some traffic to a particular offer. In this instance, we sent them to a particular event that Old Walk were promoting. And obviously that then resulted in bookings, which is at the end of the day what you want. So I'll just take you through an example of someone's journey here. So this was an actual user, Louisa. So she entered via the QR code actually for this, that was her entry point. She then shared that with a friend after she'd entered. She then had a look at the murder mystery event. She then had a look at the spa. Then on the 27th of March, so that was 2 weeks later, she got the message saying, do you want to spin the wheel and see if you've won? So she did that. She didn't win. However, she was shown a follow-up offer, which she clicked. She then went through that event flow for that particular offer and eventually booked. So 8 touches resulted in an inquiry. So that's an example of how this sequence how this works, and that's had no one's had to do anything from the hotel side. No one's had to, that's all set up, that all happens automatically. So that is incredibly effective. I think you'll agree. Another way that we then used in terms of getting people to inquire about the events is from the website. So they filled the form in to find out about the event. They instantly received a personalised WhatsApp message saying, here's the event details, which date are you interested in, gave them the information, how many tickets you're interested in, are you interested in accommodation as well, yes, no, maybe. So there's buttons that people can choose that then builds up what they are interested in and then sends them the relevant either booking link or the inquiry is captured automatically. And in this instance, then the hotel team are alerted with all that information. They can then go back and then book that customer in. So it's, again, a really efficient way of capturing that inquiry from the website. And why it's so powerful also to use this form of inquiry from the website is if they don't end up finishing that booking, or if they stop halfway through, or any aspect of dropout, then we can build in nudges and automations that send them little reminders. Did you still want to book? Have you seen this? Are you still interested? Not too much, only the right amount, which is the art of it. But those little nudges are critical to then converting them, because 9 times out of 10, if Amy was on that journey of finding out about the event, she might have stopped because she had to go and ask her husband, which date do we want? Or are you interested in this? Or the dog might have needed letting out, or all those kind of things that make someone stop their journey. Now, if they're on a website and they stop that journey, there's no way that you can easily get them back into that journey. If they're on WhatsApp, you can send them a reminder an hour later and they say, oh yeah, I did mean to finish doing that. Fantastic. So immediately your conversion rates are just much improved. So obviously the event click-throughs is what we wanted to do from the competition, but then you've got your follow-up impact of all the things you can do as a result. So then let's look at the benefits across all the business streams within. So if you are a hotel, if you're a leisure attraction, if you're an event venue, whatever kind of venue you are, then you've got all of these different streams where you can then start to benefit from different WhatsApp journeys and flows and narratives that you put in place, so that all the roads are leading to WhatsApp and all the conversations and the interactions are within WhatsApp, but you are capturing details of inquiries and customer interests and the user information all the time, so that you can go back to them with even more relevant and helpful communications in the future. So these are all the kind of areas that you might then use your WhatsApp channel to help all these different areas. So then let's look at the second case study, which is at the events and shows. So this was a major UK trade show. So they had 7,500 attendees. So we used WhatsApp to confirm their registration. So once they registered, they also got their confirmation in WhatsApp saying, thanks for registering, here's the information. Things like there was an easy to navigate menu with parking and travel information and visa information and all that kind of thing. So they could immediately browse, they could look at the agenda, they could set reminders for things in the agenda that they particularly wanted to see. The day before the event, they would get a message saying, are you still attending? People, when they're in event mode, they generally don't look at the details until just before the event. So being able to easily go into WhatsApp and either find the information easily about what's the code for parking, or where is it, or where's my ticket, because that's one of the biggest questions that was asked, is where's my ticket, because people have lost their ticket from their email, or they can't find it, they get there and where is my ticket. So to be able to instantly get that from WhatsApp, fantastic. And to be able to improve that customer experience and that visitor experience is not only good for the visitor and your brand, but it's also good for your team, because there's much less on-site questions or emails or things like that that are coming through, because people are helped and they've got the information. So so many event organisers are switching to using WhatsApp for this reason. So you're cutting the inbound inquiries. You're able to get that real-time engagement data, which is fantastic. That agenda information. So for an event where you've got agenda and different sessions, you imagine if someone can get a reminder on WhatsApp 10 minutes before the keynote starts, or 10 minutes before a particular session that they've booked on a workshop, or a particular meeting, if they can get a reminder in WhatsApp of when it's starting and where it is, that is so helpful. Exhibitors love it as well, because they can use it to get better quality conversations and do follow-ups and all that kind of thing. And of course, all the time you're building for next year. So you're building that audience of engaged people with information that you can then use for your next event that's coming up. You can even do it for things like if you're wanting to, do for meals and things like that. If you need dietary requirements, things like that, you can capture all that information really easily for using WhatsApp. So there's two really strong case studies there of WhatsApp and how it's been used for these two particular audiences, or these two particular types of businesses. What I'd say is 5 tips for getting started. So WhatsApp, as we've already discussed, is all about using a warm audience, so that they may not be a customer yet, but you want them to come into that channel to want information. So the key thing is not to spam people who don't know who you are. Start first of all with that warm audience and building that engagement, that conversational opportunity with those people, and you'll see that will really start to build that success in using the channel in that way. Plan the conversations as a journey. So it's not just a message. You're not sending out one message and that's it. You're taking the user on an entire journey to give them the information they want, and also give them more than what they want. Give them extra stuff, and really delight and excite them with great communication that helps them with what they want to know, but also more than what they want to know. Use the right tool for it. So I've mentioned we use ManyChat. There are other platforms, but use a good platform like ManyChat, because the investment's smaller than you think it is actually. You don't need a developer, you don't need complicated setups and all that kind of thing. The platforms are there, so they are there to start exploring and start using now. And think about, if you're starting to build a campaign, start with one campaign, but then think about it in the long term. How might you use this tool for 12 months plus? How is it part of a longer term campaign? So it's not about, like with an ads campaign, where you're looking at the numbers of the first campaign and that needs to be strong in order to then carry on with the next one. Think of it as a whole channel and a whole strategy. Like with anything with marketing, you've got to start somewhere and build it into a long-term strategy. And I keep mentioning this saying, but I always say all roads lead to WhatsApp. Make it a core communication channel for your business where all roads lead to it. So from your website, from your social media, from emails, from QR codes on site, from posters, from print, from adverts, make all of the roads lead to WhatsApp, because you can control that conversation so much more powerfully when you do that. So just to summarize, so WhatsApp's on the channel that your audience is on. It's better for visitors, but it's also easier for your team. And start with what you have already. So start with a smaller campaign, one idea, and see how it works and learn from it, and then build it into a wider strategy for your business. I am open to questions. If you want to ask questions now, that's absolutely fine. If you want to ask me questions on WhatsApp, then please do. Scan that QR code there. It will take you to our WhatsApp channel. You can either book a free ideas session with me, completely open to sharing as many ideas about your specific business, because every business is obviously completely different, and you will have your own objectives and ideas for how WhatsApp could help you. So I'm completely willing and happy to share as many ideas as you wish and do a completely free session with you. So scan the QR code and you can do that. Also, you can get a PDF which has a lot of the ideas that we've taught and loads more ideas actually in it. If you scan that QR code, it'll take you into WhatsApp and you'll be able to say, send me the PDF. So yeah, do that. I'll give you a second to do that. And obviously my contact details are there. And then just to finish off, I always like to finish with this fun QR code to go into a movie quiz. If you like 90s movies, this is just, it's a fun quiz in WhatsApp, but it shows you the possibilities of how you can just get really interactive and really fun with your WhatsApp journeys. So it's taking it to the next level and it's having a bit of fun. So yeah, I hope that's been of use today. I will take some questions if anyone has any questions. Thank you very much for your comments saying thank you for a great session. I hope it has been useful. Like I say, do any questions that you want to ask me offline, that's absolutely fine. I will come back to you. And yeah, I'm wishing you all a very great day. So thank you very much, and I will see you all soon.